Hello again, everybody. Thank you for joining the February PIHRA Membership Orientation webinar. My name is Lily, and you'll see a picture of me in a moment. I'm really excited to be with you today and hopefully helping you get the most out of your PIHRA membership, or if you're on the fence about the PIHRA membership, helping you get the information you need to make a decision. So we will be interacting. I want to make this as interactive as possible. However, because of the large number of us on the line or on the webinar, I would like to request that you send me questions, comments, anything via the question/chat box. And I am here with my partner, who I'm going to introduce in a moment. And so I will be pausing, and we will be monitoring those questions and comments as we go. I have 45 minutes with you. I usually fill that up. So before I begin, I want you to start thinking about, what do you want to get out of this webinar? What are the questions, those burning questions about PIHRA, and how you can maximize the value from it? Send those to me right now. I want to make sure that I focus on responding to your questions and on giving you information that will help you. So please send me a comment, question in the chat box, and I will focus on those responses. If I don't have a response, or I feel like I need to research your question a little bit more, I'll let you know, and I will follow up with an email. You should know that I will be sending you, it's either me or Elisette, who you'll meet in a moment, we'll be sending you the slides today, so that you don't necessarily have to take notes on what is on the slides, but any additional information you hear, you might want to take notes on. What else? Like I said, I want to make this as interactive as possible, so I have a prize, this lovely portfolio that you see. And what I usually do, I usually ask a trivia question. So have someone respond as fast as possible via the chat box on some sort of trivia question that I ask. It's usually about PIHRA history, one of our events, or something like that. So hopefully you're listening, and hopefully you're staying engaged and asking questions. So I'm just going to, before I get started, just scan if I've gotten any questions. Okay, I have free webinar questions. Let me write this down. Free webinar questions, and getting involved in the HR world and connecting. Great. Networking, connections. Okay, so let me introduce myself, and again, if anything comes to mind as we're moving forward in the presentation, please let me know. I will answer those questions as we move forward. So who am I, and who's on my team? So I am Lily Arguello. I'm there in the middle. I'm the Director of Membership. I am enthusiastic about being on the staff here. And just briefly, I was a PIHRA member before I ever dreamed of being on staff. My background is in organizational development, assessments, corporate culture studies, management training, that sort of thing. So this was a great marriage of my career in organizational development. And my last position was with the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles, where I focused on helping to expand the Girl Scout leadership program in the lower income inner city quartiles of Los Angeles. I'm here with Elisette Sapian, and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited that you're here. I'm the membership coordinator for PIHRA. I'm on the right on the slide, and I've been with PIHRA for about 4 years. It's going to be now in July, so that's exciting. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been great.
It's been that long.
We have a great staff, and it's been a great learning experience. And I'm excited to meet you. Hopefully, if you have any questions, I'll be watching the chat box and answering if Lily can't get to your questions. But feel free to reach out to us even after the webinar is over with questions if we couldn't get to them in this webinar.
Yeah, so Ellie sits my right hand. She is likely going to be the first person you speak to if you call the office. Just so you know, I'm really passionate about helping our members excel in their career and be successful. It's a part of what drives me. I really like working with youth. That's why the Girl Scouts was important to me, and just help to ensure that organizations and individuals are successful has been part of my OD world for a long time as well. So also on this page is Jason Renda. He's the chair of the membership committee. So he, and I'll talk a lot more about this, he's a volunteer leader. He's super accessible. He's a senior HR leader in his organization, and he has both HR certifications, the HRCI certification, the SPHR, I believe, and the SHRM SCP, and he's very accessible. So I'll be talking a lot about volunteerism and that sort of thing. That's a great way to get connected into the HR world, by the way, is to volunteer. I see there's a comment. I don't know if there's anything I
have one more question.
Okay, let's see. What's the other question we got? Are there, no. So I'm going to get to where PIHRA is. I'm going to give you, the question was around, are we just California, etc. So that's the next thing I'm going to touch on. So let's go there. So our mission is to serve the California HR community with innovative programming, professional development, high-impact networking opportunities. We are 75 years old, and I think this is our 76th year. We were established in 1944 by a group of personnel managers who really wanted to look at the future of the HR career, the personnel management career, and industrial relations profession. And so they got together in downtown Los Angeles to discuss what sort of training do these individuals need, or are there opportunities for certifications that they can start to develop. So we serve Southern California primarily through our 17 chapters, and you're going to see a map, the greatest map, but you're going to see a map of our chapters later on in this presentation. But we do serve all of California. We have an annual conference called the California HR Conference, and we do have folks coming in from other states and internationally. Primarily, those individuals have operations in California, so hopefully that answers your question, but we'll be talking a little bit more about that as we go forward. When we were established in 1944, that group of volunteers decided that they should call the association the Personnel and Industrial Relations Association, so PIHRA, P-I-R-A. We have evolved a lot since then. So now we're Professionals in Human Resources Association, PIHRA, P-I-H-R-A. We also just went through a logo change, so you'll see that on these slides. This is a newer logo we're really excited about. And yeah, so we started a while back. We are primarily led by volunteer leaders, as I mentioned. Patty Ann Sprinkle is the 2020 president of the PIHRA Board of Directors. She has been volunteering for PIHRA for many years. She was the chair for PIHRA Antelope Valley, and recently retired and decided to give back to the HR community, and has spent the last 2 or 3 years. She got reelected as the PIHRA president. So she's very accessible and fun and a great representative of the community. You will see her at our PIHRA Legal Update or at the conference if you ever want to speak to her about her career and the volunteerism that she's experienced here with PIHRA. We didn't mention this. We are the largest SHRM affiliate in the world. If you ask them, they say we're probably one of the largest in the United States. But I have the reports that show that we are at least the largest in the United States. And we were actually established before SHRM was established. I'm sure most of you know about SHRM, the Society of Human Resource Management. They were established in what I have read, in 1948, somewhere in the Midwest, but they obviously got a lot bigger than us, and I believe they serve over 250 SHRM members. So we are affiliated, and we have a good relationship with them. And the reason I brought that up is because we have the largest staff of any SHRM affiliate, and the leader of that staff is right here, Rafael Rivera. He's the executive director and my boss. He joined, I think now 10 years. We're all kind of tenured people here now. I've been with PIHRA for 5 years. He's been around for 9 to 10 years. I think he just had an anniversary. And I really credit him for taking our professional development to the next level, taking our annual conference above and beyond where we ever dreamed it would be. It's the largest HR conference on the West Coast. He rebranded it. It used to be called the PIHRA Annual Conference, and now, as I mentioned, it's the California HR Conference. So just a little brief note about us. Who are our members? This gives you a brief overview of who they are. 34% are at the manager generalist level. 33% are at the HR director plus level, so HR directors, VPs, etc. Another thing to note here is right around 11% are what we call service providers or general members. Those are the folks who are natural partners to the HR professional. For example, insurance brokers, staffing folks, financial advisors, wellness corporations. So you'll meet them at our chapter meetings as well, and I'll tell you more about the chapter meetings in a moment. 32% of our members are HR certified. I'm actually really excited about that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But so HR certification is really important to our members, and I believe someone had questions about obtaining recertification credits, and I'll talk about that. But just so you know, all of our chapter meetings, I believe 99% of them offer recertification credits for both the SHRM certification and the HRCI certifications. Right now, we have a little over 4,500 members representing 2,500 companies, and the top 3 industries represented by our members are manufacturing, consulting, and healthcare. So those are the people you're going to be connecting with out there. I promised I was going to show you a map. This map is being updated, actually, so I apologize. It's not the best map. And we just had some name changes as well, but I don't want to confuse you with all that. If you're interested, I could let you know. So a little bit of information about our chapters. We have 17 chapters. They all have their individual board, and they meet once a month. There's 2 blackout months, like August is a blackout month for some of them, and then December, some of them don't meet as well. So you can count on having 10 monthly meetings per chapter. I did the calculation, so including chapter meetings, socials, mega socials, and other events. As a member, you can attend up to 160 or 170 actually professional development meetings per year. As a member, you get a discount, and you can attend. You might have seen that when you join, we ask you for your preferred chapter, to select a chapter, and that's really your preferred chapter. You could attend any chapter. You could change chapters on your own as well. I recommend going to several chapter meetings, maybe one that is near your work, another one near your home, if you commute like I do. Our largest chapter is down here in South Orange County. They are now called PIHRA South OC. They meet out of Newport Beach, and you could count on meeting between 70 to 100 people at their monthly meetings. So the monthly meetings, someone asked about networking and getting into the HR world, go to the monthly meetings if you're serious about building your HR community. There is a portion of the meeting that is just dedicated to networking. There's a meal at each meeting, and there is a professional development component, and that's where you're going to receive your recertification credit. At a lot of the meetings, they'll ask new members or people who haven't attended their meeting to introduce themselves and make a statement about why they're there, what they want to get out of PIHRA. And so that's a great opportunity. I've heard of people talking about position openings at their organization, so it's a great way to get connected. I was at the PIHRA Long Beach meeting. That's kind of where I started, in PIHRA Long Beach. They're a mid-sized company chapter, and they meet at the, gosh, I want to say the Grand, right off of Willow. I believe it's called the Grand. And when I was there, someone mentioned they knew about a director of HR position in downtown LA, so I was able to connect a friend of mine with that position. Our second largest chapter is the downtown LA chapter. We call them PIHRA Los Angeles. And they meet for breakfast. You could count a meeting between 30 to 50 people at their monthly meetings. They meet at the City Club, which is this beautiful venue. It's a penthouse venue in one of the high rises there, so always great. We go as far north as Antelope Valley. We go as far east, which you don't see on this map, as Coachella Valley, and they meet at a Palm Desert. And we go we're in Temecula, so Southwest Riverside has a chapter. It's now going to be called PIHRA Temecula. And actually, North Orange County, now called North OC, they're our third largest chapter, and they meet out of Anaheim. We also have a group, Ventura County, meets out of Camarillo, and we have PIHRA Santa Clarita that meets out of Newhall, I want to say, or Valencia. So I'm going to pause for a moment because I see a question. Can you tell me, is there a new question here?
There is a question. The question is, does PIHRA offer technical system training?
Let me see. I do not believe why are these not in order? Here we go. Technical systems training. So I don't believe so. I believe this is Laura. Let's talk offline about that, because I would have to ask you more questions about that. We do have a PIHRA HR Talent and Tech program, but we don't. That program doesn't get into the details of an HRIS system. It's more broader strokes. So hopefully that answers your question. On top of the 17 chapters, we also have 3 specialty groups. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that, but I do want to get rid of these tools. Here we go. Okay, so the PIHRA Foundation is its own 501c3. It also has its own board, so another great opportunity to volunteer. And the reason they're their own 501c3 is because they focus on fundraising and giving back in the community. They fundraise for scholarships for HR professionals. You do not have to be a PIHRA member to apply for the scholarship. They have an HR certification scholarship. They have 2 windows, one in the spring and one in the fall. And their spring window is likely to open in March, and the deadline would be late April. They also provide 2 stipends to the California HR Conference. Those stipends are for people who are not working at the moment and would like to attend this 3.5-day conference. And that application deadline is usually right in July. And they also do a silent auction. So if you're interested in volunteering for the silent auction, or you're an organization who would like to give a silent auction prize, it's a great way to have your organization exposed to the HR community at the conference. And they also do some community service. I think it's been like 15, 20 years ago, they published 2 booklets. They're called, and they're used at the high school and college level. They're called You and Your First Job and You and Your Next Job, not second job, your next job. So they'll go out to high schools, or I know they are working with Unite LA, I believe, doing mock interviews for high school students or students in the inner city to talk to them about what they need to get that first good job. So if you're interested in doing some community service, this is a great group. I think they're looking for some volunteers right now too. So a great group. We also have Club PIHRA. Something's not going well for me here. Sorry, hold on. I'm going to erase all this and go to the right tool. Okay. Club PIHRA. This is the fun side of HR. This is a great group. Also has their own board, and you can volunteer with them, or you can just attend their events. So this group exists for the HR practitioner who is responsible for employee recognition, Christmas parties, summer picnics, and other sorts of events for employees. So a lot of they meet quarterly, and their events usually take place at a venue where you might host an event for your employees. So their next event, which I'm kind of excited about, I don't think I'll be able to go again, but it's going to be March 26th at Six Flags Magic Mountain. And what's wonderful about these events is that there's networking. There's also a vendor fair. So if you are needing to do some research about your Christmas party or employee event, you can meet representatives from different venues, event solution folks, caterers, and things, and people like that. So you can start doing that research. They also do a program, so you can receive recertification credits. And in this instance, you can go into the Six Flags Magic Mountain Park afterwards. So I think for members, it's $30 to attend. It's not more than $40, I'll tell you this. And you get your ticket into Magic Mountain for all that. So I want to take my child one day, because I don't think I can beat that price to get into Magic Mountain. They also go to House of Blues Anaheim, Knott's Berry Farms, Lucky Strike. So they're a great group. I recommend going. Now I'm really proud of PIHRA Young Professionals. They're also changing their name, so you'll see that I have them as PIHRA Emerging Leaders. That just happened last night at our board meeting. It's a great group to get involved in. They're really excited about 2020. If you want to volunteer with them, please, let me know and I'll make an introduction. They are looking for volunteers. Their next event is, coming up. I'm going to show you in a slide coming up, but it's called the Human Resources Cafe, which they're launching with PIHRA South OC, and it's an interactive meeting with HR directors or VPs from Golden State Foods, and it's on site at Golden State Foods. So this is a very inclusive community. So if you feel like, wait, this is for young professionals, this isn't me, don't worry, just go. I don't think you're going to feel awkward. I am not a young professional, and I love going to their events, and I get a lot out of it, and I just like working with youth, so I feel like I fit right in. So no worries. And that's part of why we are going through this name change, because there was a lot of concern about, well, what's the cutoff age? And it's really uncomfortable to talk about that. So it's something that we want to invite all of you to, but it is geared toward those people who are early career or wanting to enter into the HR career. I see a comment or question, so I'm going to pause because I've been talking a lot here.
I just answered it, but we can go and read.
Yeah, so how do you find out about our meetings and our social events? Well, I'm going to highlight some of them to you in a moment, but go to the PIHRA Calendar. We have, like I said, over 170 meetings per year. Right now, a lot of the meetings that are up on the calendar go out till March, and so we will be continuing to populate those. The next meeting in Long Beach, I guess we could look that up for you really quick, but that's a great group, and if you want an introduction to them, let me know, because I have some friends from a long time ago that attend that meeting. So I wanted to talk to you about the benefits of being a member. The membership is $150 a year. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of money, but if you're like me, I really utilize my money in very deliberate and thoughtful ways, and I want to make sure that I get the most out of that, especially when it comes to my career. And so that's why I put together this slide. I've monetized the membership to be at least $3,000 in value per year. So one of the things that I find is priceless, and someone mentioned it as one of the things that they want to focus on, is the socializing and the relationship building. This is where PIHRA, because we have a local face-to-face footprint with our chapter meetings, this is where you're going to build your HR board of directors. And I called it that. You might have heard you build your own board of directors, but this is where you're going to build your HR board of directors. That person that you feel you can trust to call outside of your organization, who probably has experience with an issue that you're dealing with. Now, I just did some research on stress in the HR profession, and I think it's Perkhouse. It's an organization out of the UK, and what their research showed is that the HR departments are the second highest type of profession that states that they have stress on the job. So 79% of human resource professionals are stressed. And that's second only to salespeople. So please build your community. Do not wait until you're you're burning out or you need to find that new job. Please make a goal for yourself to at least go to 3 meetings in the next, let's say, 6 months, so that you can start building those relationships. Some of our members have been members for over 30 years, and one woman from actually PIHRA Long Beach comes to mind. When I asked her, why are you a PIHRA member? Why is this so important to you? And she says, I met my best friend at PIHRA, and they're still friends. They actually go to PIHRA Long Beach meetings together, and so if you ever see Paula Cohen at a PIHRA Long Beach meeting, tell her that I told her story, that she found her best friend here. So it's really priceless. The meetings are an extra cost. I didn't add that. And it's because, we got to pay for the venue and the meal. But with your membership discount, you're getting a little bit of a discount. But, set a goal for yourself. Go to at least 3 or 4 PIHRA meetings. The professional development is there, and also that connections. We also have some socials that our chapters are going to be doing in the spring specifically. They do them all around the year, but spring there's a lot of socials, and in the fall there's going to be a lot of socials. So look out for those for connecting. Most of the meetings are in the morning, so they're breakfast meetings, or some are at lunch, but the socials are usually, and we have some alternative events as well. Those are in the evening, and even some on Saturdays, which I'll get to. At PIHRA, this is where you're going to build your HR expertise. So not only are you socializing at the meetings, but you're building your HR arsenal. We have topics ranging from employment law to employee investigations, performance evaluation, corporate culture, things. I'm going to talk to you about a PIHRA Real HR event that I'm helping put on. We're talking about wellness for HR professionals. So there's a lot out there. This is where you're going to build your expertise, not only at the monthly meetings, but our legal update, PIHRA Legal Update, which happens in January, and at the California HR Conference. Plus, we have HR certification prep courses, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. Also, a huge value is through the PIHRA Workplace. If you are a member and haven't utilized the PIHRA Workplace, please email me or Elisette so we can help you get on there. Just the Employee Handbook Builder, the Job Description Builder, and the HR Hotline, which is you could place an unlimited amount of calls to the HR Hotline. Just there, you're getting $2,000 worth of value. And the Compliance Center, it includes webinars. I'm not sure if some of them you may be able to get certification credit from, for that person who asked that question, but I'm not positive. But there's HR webinars, there's employment law summaries. The Employee Handbook Builder is a 50-state handbook builder, so you can, in theory, create handbooks for your organization in all 50 states that complies with the laws in those 50 states. But we all know that California leads the charge with employee law, or workplace law. So if you got a California employee handbook, then you could probably use that, even though some of your organization may not want to in other states. But really, you just get a lot of money from the workplace, and can't say enough about that. So I'm going to pause for a second. I don't know if there's any comments yet, or
I don't see anything right now.
Okay.
But yeah, if you have any questions,
yeah,
keep asking.
Keep asking questions. All right. So let's see. HR education, I've talked about that. We're the place to go for HR professional development through our meetings. We have webinars. We actually have a free webinar coming up. You're going to get the date in a moment. The conferences, the PIHRA Legal Update this year was phenomenal. We actually sold out on a couple of the locations. But also, if you're interested in employment law, some of our monthly meetings coming up are touching on parts of employment law like PIHRA. I know there was something, a chapter doing kind of a employment law 2020 update and short version. So you want to do that. The California HR conference, I'm going to get to that in a moment. It's really second to none. We have specialty programs. I talked about HR talent and tech. That focuses on the HR information systems aspect of HR, but again, I don't think we do specific training on a specific program or organizational module. We have strategic leader, and that really focuses on strategic HR, and I'm going to talk to you a bit about PIHRA Real HR. I'm really proud of that program. You can find out about all this on the calendar, and here's the URL. Talked about the workplace. Please utilize this. Here's the phone number for the PIHRA Live. We call it PIHRA Live. This is the HR hotline. So if you're not calling them, call them. You can ask any question of them, and if they have the answer, they'll let you know. If they don't have the answer, they'll research it for you or try to find some resources for you, and they always follow up with an email with whatever documentation that would help you. And so it's just a great tool. People from, get this, Elisette, a former employer of Think HR went into HR and she joined PIHRA just to have access to Think HR. Oh, wow. That happened yesterday. So it really did. So I'm telling you, check it out. Okay, let's see. What else do I want to talk to you about here? Oh, if you're in between jobs or are looking to kind of change, or you're looking for your next great opportunity, please look into our benefit that's powered by Career Arc. It's called Your Next Step, and it's this work transition platform. And I can't even get into all the things that it includes. It's all online. You could research organizations on there. You could look for jobs on there. We also have the Career Center, the PIHRA Career Center, which I don't mention here, sorry. But if you're interested, it's at PIHRA.org/jobs. You could find jobs on there, and you could post your resume. But this platform, it has resume building workshops, a pitch development workshops, networking company research, which I mentioned. And what I really love about this is they have interview and follow-up advice. And one of the things in that module is they have a video recorder where you can videotape yourself answering interview questions. I know I need to do that because when I talk to myself, when I hear myself talk on this webinar, I'm a little horrified sometimes. But practice for your public speaking. Nowadays, we have to be marketing ourselves at all times and being competitive in the marketplace, and communication, concise, deliberate, strategic communication is vital to that. So this is where you'll be able to receive a license, and it's a 6-month license. So I see a question, so I'm going to pause for a second.
Yeah, do you want me to read it?
Yeah.
The question is about certification. Which certification is better for someone who has about 5 years experience?
Okay, remind me of that question in a moment. That's a tough question, but can you keep that?
Yeah.
Keep that for me. I'm going to answer that, Teresa, right? I'm going to answer that in a moment. That's a really tough question. I don't know if I'll answer it the best way, but I do have an answer for you. Okay. Someone asked me about getting into the HR world and networking. I've been talking about that because that's a big thing that I push. No other HR association can beat the amount of people that you'll meet through PIHRA. You're not going to meet the diversity and the range of people anywhere else. So, but another great way of gaining access and visibility in the community is volunteering. It's really well known that if you want to hone your leadership skills and be recognized in your organization, volunteer, take a leadership position with an outside organization and get active. Some organizations don't support that as much as others. I suggest you look for an organization that supports that. PIHRA supports that. I'm able to be a Girl Scout leader, which I'm not doing anymore. I was able to be in a leadership position with the women's club in my community, and my boss supports that because he knows that the more you're in the community, the more you're honing, the management of events, planning for an organization, the better you are in the organization, and it's a great way to get to know people. So I forget who asked me that question, but volunteer. Send me and Elisette an email if you're interested in volunteering or you have questions about volunteering. You can also visit PIHRA.org/volunteer to find out. There's a lot of different ways to volunteer. If you're a little hesitant or don't have a lot of time, volunteer on a committee at a chapter, or volunteer for the conference. And we could tell you about that. If you want to volunteer for conference, though, I want you to know it's highly competitive. I think we have 115 spots, and we get around 300 applications. And those applications, that opens up, I think, in May or June. Yeah. So you want to get on the distribution list for that. Okay. Now we're going to talk about what some people have been asking. Members, I already said you get at least $15 off of the monthly meetings, and you get discounts on all of our other conferences and seminars. PIHRA recertification. So I think it was Teresa who asked that. I am actually going after my certification this year after 10, 15 years of thinking about it. And so we have a SHRM, we host prep classes throughout the year, but in April, I believe, we're doing a 6-week SHRM CP and SHRM SCP training prep course with one of the best instructors out there, Richard Dawson. And what's wonderful about this is that it's me and Stacy, who's our Director of Education. We're both going to try to get our certification, try to pass the exam. So we'll be doing a work study group after the 6 weeks. So we'll be studying until November. And we're trying to, we're selecting 2 days a week, Saturday mornings, and I believe it's Tuesdays or Thursday afternoons. And so to your question, it sounds like, and it's a real individualized question. So are you, which one are you eligible for? That's something you really need to look on their sites for, so you can go to hrci.org, and this will be in the follow-up email, and look up SHRM certification. Just Google SHRM certification, go there, and they'll have these step-by-step guides for how to do that, because I don't know them by heart, but if you've worked 5 years in an exempt position, and it also depends on the degree you have, you're likely to be at the SHRM CP or at the SHRM certification, for the SHRM certification, or the PIHRA level. But again, you'll have to look at that. Everyone's so unique, and deciding on which certification is another conundrum. My boss recommends to get the certification that your boss has. Also, I've heard that the SHRM certification is a lot more, has more visibility with employers on the East Coast. And the HRCI certifications, which are the PIHRA, SPIHRA, and they have others, those employers here will recognize that a lot more. than the SHRM certification. The other difference is that the SHRM certification really focuses on competencies. So they're not looking for the right or wrong answer. They're looking for how you would think through. The exam, in other words, looks at how you think through an issue and what your competencies are in terms of thinking through an issue. So hopefully that answers your question. You know, it's just so unique. Everyone really needs to do their own research, and we'll send you a link to some webinars that we've done in collaboration with HRCI and SHRM, because they talk about eligibility and why it's important and things like that as well. So look there, and if you still have questions, I can connect you with some people who are certified already and who live in that world. So yeah, I hope you get certified. I'm getting certified. Come to this April SHRM prep class so you can study with us. All right, I see that there's some other questions. Did I miss it? Or?
Just a comment. Congratulations. Way to go.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm going to need help studying out there, so come study with us. We have this great program that we're doing in collaboration with PIHRA South OC. It's a 2020 economic forecast, what HR needs to know. We're really going to be looking at what's the labor, kind of projecting what labor is going to look like. Is unemployment going to be as low as it's been? How are different industries going to be affected based on economic growth and things of that sort? So that's an interesting one. I've been thinking about attending that. I don't know if I can get to it. California HR Conference is coming up. Tomorrow is the deadline for, is it the early bird? I think it's early bird pricing. So PIHRA members get all 3.5 days for $849. It includes kind of a continental breakfast, a great, fabulous lunch, all of the networking. We start networking and having fun on Sunday, by the way. So has any one of you, tell me, have you gone to the conference? Because if you've gone to the conference, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't gone to the conference, try to get it on your training budget. You're going to be exposed to over 80 speakers and at least 75 to 70 learning sessions. I think we have, 7 learning tracks from personal development to HR strategy to employment law to global HR to talent management, and it's spectacular. Plus, so on Sunday night, I have my new member orientation or reception on Sunday. We have a Tuesday night event, and again, we have great keynotes. We're waiting to confirm one of our keynotes now. So, all right, I only have 2 minutes. I've been going on and on. We have webinars. We have a lot of online learning, so on-demand learning. Some you have to pay for. Some are free. If you need help with that, let us know. I talked about networking a lot. So, but someone had questions about webinars. We do have a free webinar coming up on March 27th. It's called Safe Conversations Dialogue that Transforms Workplace Culture. Free for PIHRA members, and you get certification credit. This list of events, they're all more social oriented. So there's a networking component. PIHRA Pasadena has an HR roundtable and book club that meets in Sierra Madre coming up next week. It's free. I'm going to be on March 5th at PIHRA Real HR Riverside. We have a team of 3 experts talking about neuro leadership. We have this woman who wrote a book called was a book, it's on there, it's something around badassery or something like that, but she is a black belt in martial arts and a nutritionist. And we have Dr. Psychiatry, and they are going to talk about how to self-care. self-care for HR because of how much stress you're going through. March 10th is the Human Resources Cafe, which I discussed with emerging leaders and PIHRA South OC. On March 25th, PIHRA Staff Day, they're going to be out here in Manhattan Beach with a happy hour at Tin Roof Bistro. March 26th, I talk about that. Club PIHRA is going to be at Magic Mountain. And on March 28th, which is a Saturday, the Pasadena chapter is hosting an event for those people in transition. It's called Leadership Traits That Increase Influence, and that's free. So I'm at 1245. And please connect. You can connect online with our community, and I'm really grateful that you spent the last 45 minutes. I have one more thing to do before I end the call, the trivia question. Yeah. I'm going to make it kind of simple, and I believe I said this out loud. So the first person to respond via chat box to the following question wins the Padfolio. In what year was PIHRA established? In what year was PIHRA established?
Oh.
Who's the winner?
1944. Teresa Chavez.
Teresa Chavez, you won. So we'll follow up with you to make sure we get that Padfolio with you. We're going to follow up with everyone with the deck and some links to give you more information. Please feel free to reach out to me and Elisette. Don't wait until you're frustrated. Just email us. I'm really good with email, and she'll answer the phone unless she's in the restroom. And so please call us, reach out, and enjoy the PIHRA membership. We're here for you. Bye-bye now.